we developed a rack safety flywheel, something that I think will hopefully hit home with many of you as you look to develop your own rack safety program. So as you think of a flywheel, before I go into it, think of something that you're pushing in a certain direction. And as you put pressure and force and gain momentum on that wheel, that initial push may require a lot of strength and a lot of effort. But over time, very little effort is needed to continue the momentum of the wheel. So that's how we came about this. So we're going to start off with the middle. The core of the flywheel is the what. What are we trying to solve for? What are we trying to improve? And it's rack safety. Now, why? Now, the why is important because we're trying to impart this to others. Leadership gets it, right? Leadership understands the importance of safety, even though there's a cost to it. For the most part, they get it. But we want to ensure that that thought process makes its way throughout the organization. So we start off with the why at the top being kind of employee well-being. Every organization has a duty to ensure that its people are well taken care of, and that means that they have to work in a safe environment. So if they're surrounded by racking that has been damaged, that it's fraught with issues, not so safe of an environment. Then we have a compliance element. So many organizations today, Fortune 500s and others alike, will typically have some form of health and safety function at their facilities within their organization and will mandate that certain things be done from a rack safety standpoint. So if you're not just doing this for the benefit of your employee well-being, there's a compliance element here that takes that into account. And finally, and which is what I spoke about earlier, there's an operational efficiency. We can't be so ignorant of the fact that things cost money. We want to ensure that as there's damage to a particular upright, that if it's unloaded and we put it out of service, that eventually will have an impact on the operations of the facility. And who do we want to have involved in this process? So I'm a huge proponent of empowering folks to do the right thing and teaching them and educating them to do the right thing. And we'll have something on the back end of the presentation that speaks to this. But we want to ensure in-house knowledge. We want to ensure that the people that are operating within the warehouse, whether it's forklift operators, whether it's maintenance techs, operational folks, that they are mindful of the things that could put people in jeopardy from a rack safety standpoint. And then there's a third-party expertise element. I don't think you want never to, but I think we highly advise that you don't go about this rack safety program on your own. As much institutional knowledge as you think you might have within your organization, there's always somebody out there, I think, that will have learned a bit more and taking things in a slightly different direction. And that's what we try to do from a third-party expertise. Lean on the experts that are out there. Yes, you'll have to pay a little bit to have that expertise, but it'll fill the gaps in your program and ensure that you're looking after things the right way. Then we start building out the wheel with the various pillars of the wheel. We start off with an inspection. Now you're going to see we come at this from starting off with inspection, and then we flow through the wheel. You may already have a great inspection program in place, and you may start in the wheel at a different stage. But for the purposes of today's presentation, we'll talk about inspection kind of being in a lead position. Then we have an element of insight. So whatever information that we conclude from our inspection, we're going to have in the insight phase so that we know what to tackle. The maintenance is now executing and acting on those critical issues that we identified in the insight phase. And then we'd have a prevention. So you're not always going to have to fix things right away as part of the insight or inspection phases, or even in the maintenance phase. You may be able to leverage the information from insight to prevent damage or further damage from happening to your uprights, depending on where they're located. And then we complete the wheel with kind of a little bit more detail in each phase of the wheel.